Hello, my name is Najah Roberts, and I would like to welcome you to the Virtual Underground Railroad. I'm really excited about this platform, and the reason why is because I got into financial services about 12 years ago, myself and my husband, because we really thought that we could be the change that we wanted to see. But the deeper we dove into financial services and the products that were being offered, we really realized that we couldn't help close the wealth gap, which is what both of us aspire to do. So the reason I'm super excited about this platform is because you're going to gain so much information. Listen, let's just keep it real. I pay a lot of money every month on subscriptions, and what I want to do is make sure that that information is at your fingertips so you don't have to pay for it like I have to pay for it, because some of these things I have to know. But one thing is for certain, inside of my platform, the Virtual Underground Railroad, we have a 360-degree program. We pull together some of the top experts in different industries to ensure you have the right information from people you can know, love, and trust. And so we're excited about this platform today. Every single week, I will be coming to you personally. There will be an Ask Me Anything session. You are going to be so glad that you're a part of the Virtual Underground Railroad. And I'd like to say thank you first and foremost for trusting me with your family and your learning experience. Have an incredible time at the Virtual Underground Railroad. See you inside. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Wine, Women, and Crypto. I am super excited today. This is our Black History Month, Wine, Women, and Crypto. Yay! We're calling it Black Futures Month. And I have an incredible guest for you all today. This young lady, her reputation absolutely precedes herself, but I'm going to share with you what I know that she won't. So, y'all know I like to give everybody some sort of illustration of who they are in the real world. So I think that this is our Cicely Tyson of crypto and blockchain. And when I say that, she moves with grace, she moves with poise. She is very intentional about her words. She is super kind. She is calm, and she gets the job done while just really, you just really think that she's laid back, but she's really getting, like one of those ducks that's floating on top of the water. You don't see the feet that are going down there. She makes everything look smooth. And I have been watching her for some years now in this space and really just watching her moves. If it had not been for her, whether she knows it or not, I really watched her fight in the crypto space with a couple of different companies that weren't doing right by folks. And that's when I really started to see the power that she had for change. But more than that, this young lady is the founder of a couple of different companies. First, she has Clevolution, right? That is one of the first blockchain consulting firms for African American women to own. She also is a founder of Logos, which was the first decentralized social media platform that was exclusively for activists. Hear me, activists. So that was where, people were activists online. They had no place to go. So Claire put this together so they wouldn't get censored on YouTube and Facebook and etc. And so we love that she did that. But not only that, she is previously a President Barack Obama appointee family. She worked as the Director of Public Affairs for the United States Department of Economics in the Development Administration. She actually was charged with promoting White House economic programs and national public-private partnerships to advance innovation and entrepreneurship. Don't we need that right now? as Black and Latinx folks in America. We definitely need to learn about advanced innovation and entrepreneurship. She has done some major work in the public policy system. She was a communications director for the United States Representative Betty McCollum and also Barbara Lee. She has worked with several congressional leaders to really get some sort of legislation initiatives in place. She has her bachelor's, if I'm not, oh no, she has her master's from Howard. It was in art and university, and I know that she worked in broadcasting as well, ladies and gentlemen, on CNN. So when I say that I am honored to have this young lady with us today, she is a superstar in her own right in the blockchain and cryptocurrency space. And some of you may know her and some of you may not, but after tonight, you will know about Cleve Mesidor. So, Cleve, welcome to Wine, Women, and Crypto. How are you?
Oh my God, thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Yes, yes, yes. So I'm excited for you to be here today. You have done some incredible work in this space. But before we go into that, just tell us a little bit about little girl Cleve. Where did you grow up? Where did you grow up and how did you grow up?
Yes, yes. So with a name like Cleve Mesidor, I have to be from somewhere else. So I was actually born in Haiti, but I came to the US when I was 8 years old. So I grew up in New York City, in Queens, New York, actually Hollis, Queens to be specific.
Oh, really?
Yep,
Alice, please.
in the 80s, in the era when Run DMC were on the avenue, like literally LL Cool J would be outside my school, my
Oh,
junior
wow.
yeah, but so I grew up in that period, but obviously being Haitian, the revolutionary spirit was in me. But growing up in the 80s in New York City was really a part of what really mobilized me to focus on social change. I will say I grew up with a very conservative mom who was extremely religious. So I joke with somebody that you will find me on the battlefield, but I might be in a pleated skirt. Blame Ruth Messidor for it.
And that explains your grace because I have seen you in some cat and dog fights. Technically, it would look like you were in a cat and dog fight, and you look like you were calm, cool, and collective. And I'm like, what does this sister have? Because I would be right now screaming at the top of my lungs, probably losing my vocal cords. And you always hold it together. So that mother upbringing literally helped you in that respect. Definitely, definitely. So Hollis Queens, and all I know of Hollis Queens is in the rap songs. Yes, and just start learning about New York lately because of NFTs. When I started interviewing all the masterminds of hip hop, started really learning about New York culture, and some of those things. So you say that, not say, you are from Haiti, and so you have no idea how often we have conversations about Haiti and about across the island, Dominican Republic,
Oh yeah.
because people are always talking about going to Dominican Republic. And my mom went to my mother's your complexion, and when my mother came back, I was probably in my 20s. She said, "You don't want to go to the Dominican Republic." She said because they would have your head. And I was like, what is this about? And so she kind of scared me away from. She said, if you're not going to Haiti, you shouldn't be going back that way at all. Because I heard some stuff that would scare you to death, being darker in pigment. And so, but I've always had a love for Haiti. I've always, even when the questions weren't being asked in school, I always asked because they were a people of, and I don't want to say rebellion, but they were a people of strength that said no matter what.
No, we are people of rebellion. We led the first revolution against slavery in the Western Hemisphere. The Haiti is only about 20 years younger than the US in terms of formulating. We actually sent troops to help them during the Civil War. So Haiti's history is not known, and that's intentional, right? Again, in 1803, 1804 technically, we actually finally won because it was a 15-year battle against Napoleon. We finally won that war, and actually it was a 15-year battle against France, Spain, and other parties. And so the rest of the world, did not want that to be the defining piece. Because at the time, slavery was still active in other places. So as Haitians, we feel like, especially the West has been punishing us for that rebellion. And when you look at even, Venezuela and Chavez and the relationship with Haiti, and also with Cuba, with Castro before he died, these were people who loved Haiti, not because people just feel bad for Haiti. No, because Haiti had fought in their revolutions, had fought with them. And so yeah, so I see myself as a descendant of, a people whose most sacred legacy is freedom, and we will fight for it to the death. And so Haiti's, revolution has not been completed, and but I'm confident that we are marching towards, that space where our forefathers fought.
Well, you know what? I don't think people really even know the history of Haiti. And I really had to start saying, why are they sanctioning Haiti so much? Like, why are these things happening? And really, they just were punishing Haiti
Yeah.
for being
For
doing
leading
what you needed to do.
for leading a revolution in the U.S.'s backyard, because how can you have, a country, about an hour away from Miami and still be free? And then at the end of the day, because Haiti's allies are not America's allies, so there's always been a sense of, because of our proximity, to neutralize Haiti, right? So therefore, if Castro was their enemy and Castro's our friend, then that's a problem, right? Chavez was our friend, and they're an enemy
Right.
of the U.S. So Haiti's geopolitical issues have always been challenging. Even when you look at our proximity on the island, we share the island with the Dominican Republic. We're right near Cuba. We're near Mexico, and we speak French. Unbelievable,
Yeah.
so.
Unbelievable. And
uh,
so there's something, and I know we didn't come here today to talk about Haiti, but I'm just so always wanting our community to learn history. I have to say this. It is incredible to me, and I know this is a conspiracy theory. It is incredible to me that Haiti experiences all of these natural disasters, such as earthquakes and other things, and on the same exact island Dominican Republic does not feel anything. And so I really feel like something is being done under those platelets of that particular part of Haiti to create some things. And so, I mean, really look at it and really pay attention. Like they don't even get a little bitty shake. It just does not happen, but it happens in Haiti.
What's the exploitation of our natural resources, right? When you look at the continent of Africa, across there is either your natural resources were exploited or taken or stolen, and those natural resources you need to withstand some of these natural elements, in terms of green space and such. So there's a history there, but you're right. When you look back to sanctions and the US's battle with Castro next door in Cuba, there's been a desire to use Haiti as a pawn, but I think, the average age in Haiti now is about 21. The 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 country is extremely young. I think we're seeing a generational shift, and I'm excited about what's to come. But
Definitely,
Haiti's
definitely.
embracing crypto. The
Yeah.
Haiti Central Bank is actually working to actually put out an RFP for a CBDC. They haven't put it out yet, but they're talking to companies for the last year, have been pitching them. So it's top of mind for Haiti.
All right, all right. One last thing about Haiti. Are the Clintons really there with properties? A bunch of properties?
Girl, let me tell you, people use this whole thing about humanitarianism and aid, NGOs. You know what? Because of these people, that's why Haiti has country clubs. That's why Haiti has exclusive beaches that locals can go to. because under guise of aid and humanitarianism, they have these compounds in Haiti with these SUVs and these exclusive parties at country clubs in the guise of we're helping the nation. The only people who know the truth are Haitians, and obviously, it's very hard to push for, to push forth when the Clintons are a great example of people who who thought, well, it's the Western approach, right? It's the colonial approach, right? Uh,
Hmm.
Bill Clinton cared about Haiti so much that it wanted to be a part of it, and now Haiti gets its rights from Arkansas. How is that? Like, you cared so much about us that we're getting our rights from Arkansas. Arkansas should be getting their rights from us, don't you think? But that said, this geopolitical things didn't start with the Clintons, right? And so as we deal with the issue, we have to focus on how do we solve the problem, right? And so, but again, I do think that we're seeing Haitians speak out more, be much more bold. And I appreciated you during that whole border issue. You reached out and said, hey, what are the organizations that are focused on the Mexico border issues for Haiti? And so, and I was able to connect you with not the World Red Cross, not Care Mercy Corps that do the same thing, but somehow are in Haiti, but the Haitians who are actually bootstrapping and doing this important work. So,
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. So thank you. So as you were coming up in New York, how or why did you start getting involved in the blockchain? Like, what got your attention? What just how did you get here?
girl, I have a story. So I actually first learned about crypto during the Obama administration when I was a presidential when I was a presidential appointee in the Obama administration in 2013. Right,
Mhm.
I get a call from St. Clair Skinner
Mhm.
who says, I have a Bitcoin project. Can you help me with a press release? And I'm like, Sinclair, what the hell is Bitcoin? At the time, he had created a pack that would accept Bitcoin, and it was a pack for the Kappas and the Qs. And so that was my first time. I helped him with the press release, learned about Bitcoin, but it didn't excite me. But he had a wallet and all of that stuff. So I stayed in the radar. Shortly after the movie Dope came out, so I watched that and I was like, oh. But it wasn't until around 2015, 2016, after I left the Obama administration, a few years later, that when conversations about identity management, intellectual property protections came up, that was my sweet spot, right? So when you think of identity management coming from Haiti, all of those people who don't have birth certificates, who are living in upper mountain countries, who can't even communities, upper mountain communities, who can't even participate in the economy. How do we now verify identity in a different way and get them to participate in the global marketplace? So that excited me. And obviously, I'm a creative, and so finally being able to protect your intellectual property, monetize it, and create a marketplace excited me. So it wasn't 2016, I went down the rabbit hole, and in 2017 I quit my job, started crypto 100%, and it was the best decision I ever made.
So what was your and for all the ladies and brave men who love us that are listening today, you made a massive statement that you quit your job and went down the rabbit hole. I quit my job and went down the rabbit hole. So when you came up out of the rabbit hole, is that when you came out with Clevolution?
No, no. So as I went down the rabbit hole, I actually fell in love with Ethereum. And so, and at the time, remember when Ethereum was all about social impact? They had hired all these social impact people that they later fired. But at the time, there was this whole peer to peer, and I started drinking the Kool Aid, and I went to create a platform built on Ethereum for activists and social change, as you mentioned in the opening. Activists and disruptors and change agents and revolutionaries, they have enough organizing tools. They know how to get the job done. What they
Mhm.
don't have is a platform exclusively for them to be social, to connect, to find their tribe. And that's what I wanted to build on Ethereum. And I wrote a white paper, came to put a team together, was about to launch the beta to test the fact that, this group of people rely on social media for activism, right? Now, would they would definitely like decentralization, but would they be open to a platform where it's slower, right? It's not as fast, right? So my beta was really about testing those assumptions. And then December 2017 happened, and in December 2017 Bitcoin hit 20,000, remember? And all of a sudden by January, Congress was just like, what the hell is happening? What are these people paying their taxes? And IRS got involved. And at that time, in early 2018, I was one of the few people who had Washington experience and crypto experience, and that's actually when the Blockchain Association was being formulated as well. And so I leaned back to the place I left, right? I left Washington because I became disillusioned. The social impact that I wanted to have, I didn't think I could have it there. So here I was being pulled back. And so this time, really trying to work with the Black Caucus, Hispanic Caucus, and the Asian Pacific American Caucus to talk about policy. So the book was something I had really always thought about, and I had a podcast. Believe it or not, I did not come up with the Clevolution. I reached out to a few friends saying, "Hey, I'm thinking about a podcast. What should I call it?" And one guy, him and his wife, and I mentioned in the book, they said Clevolution, and I said, "Wow!" So I'm thinking revolution, like, and then like a few weeks later, I'm telling a friend how, this friend came up with Clevolution for me, and he's like, "I love it, right? It's about your evolution and your revolution." And I was like, "Oh my God!" Like, so
Yeah.
this concept was just really people helping me to hone in on my brand. So when it came to the book, which was something I had started writing chapters along the years and putting it together. So the book became about my journey about social justice and how I really looked for it in politics, but found it in crypto. And also, really showing that the crypto, the space, the technology is really very solutions driven. So it's really not about the tech. It's really about the solution. Even NFTs, I tell people I don't think crypto should take credit for NFTs, right? Creators then change when they start using crypto. They've just always had a problem. How do I protect my intellectual property, then
Exactly.
monetize it, then sell it, right? So all we've done is giving them a new tool and a new technology to use, and that's the
Mhm.
best of crypto. So for me,
Yeah.
the evolution came about first through a podcast where I wanted to connect with other change agents, but then it really morphed into my book as well.
So yes, and I enjoyed the book. The book was actually given to me. Someone was like, "You need to read about this lady named Cleve, and this is the Clevolution." And I was like, "Clevolution, like that is brilliant. That is brilliant." And then you were there. I mean, I know the picture of the book because you're sitting on the couch, looking like the queen of all everything. And so I read it. I thoroughly enjoyed it. So to all the listeners, please, you can still go to Amazon, correct? Yes, and get the Clevolution.
It's also on Barnes and Nobles and Walmart.com as well.
All right, Walmart.com too. Yes, we can definitely get it at all those places. So get her book, read about the Clevolution. It is really a great read, especially if you're really trying to figure out. Really, in my opinion, it helps helps folks hone in on purpose. Really helps you hone in on purpose. And so that's one of the things that I've been big on in this space. Like, what is my purpose? I know I need to make money. I need to pay bills. But if that's how you lead into this, that is not going to really be what ends up being your driving force, because those things do come and go and they fluctuate. And, as we know in cryptocurrency, you can look like you're rich today and poor tomorrow, but it'll come back. But you got to do something in between. So you got to be doing something that you love. So, what are you most excited about right now?
Yeah, so I actually will be making an announcement in April about a new education platform that I'm going to be leading with some others. So I'm excited about that. And it will be an industry wide platform that would focus on really coalescing all of the different education initiatives we have in the space. There's so many great things happening. So not recreating the wheel, but really creating an umbrella for to bring all of these education initiatives together and then get them where we need them, which is in local communities in need. We forget that, well, that's not true. It's not apparent, but the reality is the crypto industry, the wealthiest in the industry, have focused on financial inclusion abroad, right? They're doing, Jack Dorsey's targeting Africa because of the population. That's how you make money, right? When you look at, Latin America, these are countries with large populations. They have high inflation. They actually don't trust their central bank, don't trust the state, and their local fiat is not worth much. So they embrace crypto, right? But in the US, right, and that's the 1.7 billion we hear about. But in the US, that number is actually estimated to be, it used to be 55 million, now it's estimated to be about 63 million of people who are unbanked, underbanked, or lack access to the traditional financial system. Yeah, and who's been doing that work? That's you, right? That's all of the Black and Latinx innovators in the space that have been really leading that charge. And the result is 23% of adoption is Black and Latinx, 11% is white Americans. So you should take a bow. Every leader who's been in the space for the last 5 years should take a bow. The work we've been doing is important, but we need to do more. And we also need to make sure people are resourcing the work that we're doing, because that's where we're having the impact here in cities like El Paso, Detroit, Oakland, the Bronx. We need to be not just active in those places, but also having a greater impact. And so, we know, the industry is so focused on these issues. If we don't make sure that we're continuing to beat the drum about financial literacy, skills training, equity, and also, access to capital for entrepreneurs, it's not going to happen. So I'm excited to, go deeper into the education route. I'm also excited about the conversation about Web3. It's interesting, you know, Web3 encompasses so much, and some people want to actually get rid of crypto and just call it all Web3. And I'm just like, that's not how. But when you think of Web3 and what's possible, right, it's entrenched in the Ethereum protocol, right? It's anchored in smart contracts, right? It's DAOs, right? It's NFTs. It's the opportunity to fix the problems of the internet, and it's issues that really plague our communities. So I'm definitely excited to work on partnerships, and that's where the Blockchain Association, I'm an advisor there. We're looking at some partnerships where some industry players wants to actually connect with some HBCUs to actually do some partnerships around curriculum and Web3, and not just educating students but faculty as well. So that's to come. But I'm also excited about some of the dynamic things that innovators of color are doing in this space. There are so many powerhouses in this space. And I will say this year, I worry that people don't know that they are, the industry has this way of, making one person the flavor of the month, right? That person becomes the only person for the event. And then we feel, so I don't know if, I know your viewers have seen, the young woman who committed suicide, the woman who was Miss USA. That's so much, because I'm in DC, and about a week ago there was a young mayor of Hyattsville in, I think it was Maryland or Virginia, 44 years old, who committed suicide. And and he was a mayor, right? He was a young 44-year-old mayor who everybody loves, similar to this beautiful young woman, former Miss America, TV personality. And it's this thing of, there's so much pressure for us to succeed and to feel like we're not valued, and to measure our worth based on what other people are saying. So I really want to really make sure that this year, especially for Black and Latinx innovators, that we're telling each other, letting each other know that we respect the work that each other are doing. We think it's fabulous. And because we the industry has a way of that's not true. Centralized systems have a way of pinning us against each other and making us fight over crumbs. And then and if we don't make sure that we're just supporting one another, right? And especially recognizing when sometimes you've gone through it, I've gone through it, when you feel like, I remember a few years ago, I felt like, okay, I'm so done with crypto, right? Like, it doesn't, sometimes you feel like it's just not working, and this thing is that's not working, and you're not making traction. And the minute you do, something turns around. So I'm really excited about, having greater opportunities to amplify and spotlight innovators of color in this space, and especially the ones who are doing some dynamic things. Even some of the projects people have called me to tell me that they're building across the country. When they announce them, it's going to be groundbreaking. And so,
Mhm.
but Najah, even the work that you've been doing, not just with Hill Hopper, but with education as well, but also in terms of just being a vehicle with, the Black Bitcoin billionaires, in terms of having your tentacles in so many places and having that impact. So, I want to take this opportunity to say, I see you, I salute you, I think you're fabulous. And, we tend to, from afar, say, she's great, he's great, but we need to let each other know, because that makes a difference.
And I definitely appreciate that. I accept it in all love. And at the same time, I say I am just a reflection of you and the hard work that you've done and the groundwork that you've laid. Because on the shoulders of giants, here we come, right? Because you've been in the space probably 3 or 4 years longer than me. And so I definitely have watched you throughout this journey. One of the things that I, want to just really echo that you stated, we have to work together. We have to work together. I think that because cryptocurrency and people that get into cryptocurrency create different coins are looking for solving a problem of the world's issues. I say that all the time. I know that there were some coins that were just created to do whatever, but for the most part, if you really look at white papers and you understand, people were just trying to solve a problem. And I think that if we can, as a group, collectively get together and do different than traditional, will be awesome.
Yeah,
Excuse me. I think that will be awesome.
I
Uh,
I agree. Yeah,
but we've really got to hone in on inclusivity, but being collective at the same time. There's so much that we can accomplish together.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
excuse me, for those of you who don't know, I'm just a week and a half over that dreaded disease. Um,
Oh my, I had
and
I had COVID over the holiday. It was almost 2 weeks for me. About 12 days. It's now been a month since I've tested negative, and and I still have lingering effects, like lingering symptoms. So yeah,
yeah,
so brace
that's
yourself.
what I'm doing. That's what I'm dealing with. So I'm okay, y'all. It's just that dreaded cough every now and then. But I am thankful to be here.
Yes.
Thankful to have all my wits around me because I'm watching people 3, 4 months and they're still having some massive issues. So, um,
God.
with that, Clive, because you were Obama's appointee, things that happen on the Hill, the president about to make some sort of announcement.
Yeah.
I believe it's February 8th or 9th. There's going to be another continuation of a hearing. How are you feeling? Like, are you worried about what President elect Biden is going to say to us as it relates to crypto? Tell me a little bit about what you're feeling.
Yeah. Right now, Washington is the reason we have regulatory uncertainty. For the last few years, the industry has been, meeting with Congress, meeting with regulators to say, let's figure it out. Let's have regulation, but smart regulation that actually fosters innovation. And what we've seen is regulatory agencies fighting among themselves about who has jurisdiction over crypto. And then you have Congress really, dinging the regulatory agencies for not having more clarity. And then the regulatory agencies coming back and saying, well, Congress is supposed to create the laws. So, so we've had these two bodies, regulators, legislators, really fighting with each other. And now we're about to have the White House injected into the conversation. Obviously, last year we had the White House, well, the presidential working group on digital assets put out a report on stablecoins and really provide guidance of where they would like to see legislation from Congress on stablecoins. So that was the first indication that the White House wanted to to play a role, like have a voice. And so, but the report was really led by FDIC and SEC. And so last year there was talk about that the White House would create a crypto czar. We know the White House doesn't have the Biden White House doesn't have the competency in-house in terms of having a crypto person. So last year the talk was that they would create a crypto czar, and that didn't happen. So just the last over the last 2 weeks, the White House has announced that they're going to put out an executive order that would give us the sense of where the White House will be coming at this. And so we're optimistically awaiting the executive order from the White House to see. And obviously stablecoins will probably be a part of that focus. But the issue is not whether it's a good direction that they want to go into. It's just there's just too much uncertainty coming out of Washington. Secretary Gensler sees himself as a top cop. Some people see him as a bully, because other regulatory agencies think that he's really stepping on their authority. And then we need we need the regulatory agencies to get on the same page, come together with a definition for digital assets that would really inform whether these things are a commodity or a security, so that we can actually know how to build, how to innovate, so we don't step in minefields. And we need Congress to actually set up the laws. But the two are, these bodies are creating uncertainty. And so with the potential of Biden's administration adding its voice, I think there's going to be more uncertainty. Now, I do think that it's going to be very difficult for the Biden administration to have a hands-on role as they probably would want, because COVID, the economy. But I think that's why I'm a bit concerned that the impact they can have will not be good, because if you remember, the first action from this White House was with the infrastructure bill, where President Biden put crypto, at least the White House put crypto in the pay for of the bill. So for the infrastructure bill, in the pay for section, we would have loved to be in the bill, itself, but in the pay for section, the administration sought to pay for the infrastructure bill $28 billion coming out of the crypto community, and that actually meant they wanted to get to 28 billion by expanding the definition of broker to extend beyond Gemini, beyond Kraken, beyond Binance US, to also include software and hardware developers, stakers, and miners. And that's us, right? We are a lot of the stakers and miners and software and hardware developers. Misguided, but when we pushed back, we heard from Yellen at Treasury and others saying, well, that's not our intent right now, but we want to reserve the right just in case, right? We can't regulate, we can't regulate by enforcement. We have to do the hard work. So, long-winded way to say, I think we're in a weird position where the U.S. government, Washington, is in a position to defend this current monetary system, right? Disruption is not something government is equipped to actually deal with. So the only way for it to deal with it is to be concerned, be hyper vigilant. But we also have players like, let's be honest, Wall Street and the big banks, right? We are a threat to them as well. And even as they come around and embrace crypto more, they want to embrace crypto in terms of their centralized system. So, I'm sure a lot of them are lobbying Congress to say, hey, yeah, if it could be illegal for the crypto folks, but if we just pile it into the traditional banking system, right, we'll just comply, right? And so it's so easy to, the US, we've agreed, even the US government recognizes that our traditional financial system is broken, right? We knew that in 2008. We need Wall Street to do better. Banks are failing Americans. That's why we have such a large unbanked population. So now, because they can't figure out how to do with crypto, putting it in the hands of banks and Wall Street is not the option. So, again, I'm an advisor to the Blockchain Association. There's also Coin Center and other groups, and so we're doing the hard work of having these conversations. I know for you, your member of Congress is Maxine Waters, who's the chair of the Financial Services Committee. So we need people to, at the very least, just let their member of Congress, the people who represent them, let them know that they support crypto, that they actually are working in crypto, because that is, it all seems spooky, because they envision these privileged little kids in their basements, full of their mommy and daddy's money. And while that may exist too, but we need the people who represent us to know we're here too, and we need to hear you talking more about our issues.
Yes, 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 yes. And I'm going to just take a pause right there because we appreciate you and your insight. We have young Melanie. Melanie, I want to say to you respectfully, absolutely. I'm reading your comment. It said, not president elect. So let me explain why I say president elect. Because I sit around people that tell me that President Biden was not elected. He was, they are constantly telling me that the count was wrong and some other things. So that is why I say president elect, not out of disrespect, because we elected him as our president. We did that. So it was definitely not out of respect. So let me say disrespect. Let me say that first and foremost. And then Miss Melanie also stated that we need to get rid of the bit license in New York.
Girl. Is that Melanie? Well, that's not gonna happen. New York is the bane of our existence, and yes, I said it. Like, so we have uncertainty at the federal level. Oh my God, the state level is where we've actually seen the most positive action. Obviously, Wisconsin is leading some of that. We're seeing a lot of activity in Atlanta. We're seeing, activity in Texas, even in Ohio, and places like Cleveland, where state legislators, mayors, governors are working with their local bodies, local municipalities, to change the laws to create sandboxes. So I would say what we've seen in the states are positive, and in a better direction than we've seen at the federal level, except New York. New York, the bit license process is just, it is not by accident. New York City, the back is the backyard, I was gonna say, but it's the playground of Wall Street, right? It's the center of commerce and finance. That is traditional finance, right? So, and I know we're talking about government, but they're not going to make it easy for us, right? So New York City being the nerve center of finance for the world, right? The headquarters of Wall Street, right? We we the bit license is not by accident that the bit license is just so hard to get. You actually need an act of God to get one of those. You need so much money, such a large team. And so whatever the reason is, what the outcome though is, it's impossible for innovators of color to get one, right? because
Absolutely.
because
Yes.
regardless of what your intention is, all you're doing is keeping us out, right? So if you're an innovator of color who gets to the point where you can actually apply for one of these things, these roadblocks don't affect the large players, because they'll create workarounds, right? They'll have large compliance folks and lawyers and lobbyists to find a solution. We won't, though, because we don't have the resources like that, and that's short-sightedness. But unfortunately, it's not going to change anytime soon. And it's not because of it's not just because of the attorney general, who's a dynamic Black woman holding it down, but it is, the politics of the place. New York City is entrenched. I grew up in New York. I grew up in Queens. I even spent some time in New York City politics, and it's intense. But I would tell people, for crypto, I think December 2017, December 2017 was so critical. That 20,000 mark just shot us out. And I think the industry, we weren't prepared either, right? It just took us to another level where so many people abandoned decentralization. People abandoned education initiatives, and we became all about the Benjamins, right? And so we have these periods, right, of crypto winter where Bitcoin and the others say, self-correction, we're about to go dormant because you people need to go back to building, go back to doing the hard work, right?
Yes.
We need to purge some of these speculative investors, right? We need to get rid of some of these non-believers.
And I love that time. I love crypto winners. People think I'm crazy, but I love it because people go away. Just go away. So
Yes. And then you can actually thin out the herd, is this saying. But I also think that crypto is so new, it's in its infancy when we put too much of a burden on it. When you look at big laws at the state and federal level, they actually take decades to pass. It actually, campaign finance reform took over about 3 decades, right? And when you look at even laws around the internet, when they were debated in the 90s, which were terrible, terrible, because look what we've created. These things take time. So because the space is going so quickly, we want regulation, we want policies to catch up. And I don't know if that's realistic. I think this is a long play. And I think, eventually the industry will win, because the shift that the industry is leading happened before crypto. The financial crisis hit before the white paper was put out in 2008, right? It just coincided with it. So our financial system is built on quicksand, and crypto is just timely. So we are on that trajectory. Even when you look at the population of the US, it is younger and browner. When you look at who will really define this crypto industry and this crypto economy, it's millennials and Zoomers. And they don't need to be defined by decentralization. And I'm a Gen Xer, and I'm in the space, so I'm not conceding the space to younger people, but I'm saying those of us in the space know who we're building for, and know who it's a long play, and really focus on doing the hard work. Unfortunately, the New York bit license, it is it's gonna go down with a fight. And
yes,
so, but
yes.
but there are workarounds, right? This is a bad example, but look at Roe v. Wade, right? The right of a woman to abortion, a constitutional right with Roe v. Wade. And when they realized they couldn't get rid of the constitutional amendment, it's like, okay, we can chip away at the state level. They have chipped away at Roe v. Wade at the state level so much that it's irrelevant, right? Because it is not about reversing Roe v. Wade. It's about reversing everything that's done in Mississippi, Alabama. All of these states are creating this. So for us, unfortunately, bad example, but it's really about not about the bit license, but how do we create other avenues to create a further ground to that can make the bit license irrelevant.
So let me say this to those individuals that are in New York. So Melanie, I'm talking to you again today. There is a shameless plug that I would like to give for a organization, a company that my husband and I actually invested in, and we invested in them because they were brown folks that were in New York on Wall Street. They are called Block Quake, BLOCK Quake, Block Quake. They create seismic shifts. That was their little tagline. We got an opportunity to meet them at a blockchain conference. I want to say back in it was the year Nipsey passed away. They were here in LA, and we got a chance to sit with them, and they were just incredible. And they were fighting for a bit license in New York. They have it, but they needed They needed family dollars because they're not big rich
Yeah.
kids. Um, they were kids that literally needed $400 here, 100 there. They just gathered all their friends and family's money, ours included, because we didn't have much to actually invest, but we knew a little bit would help. They got their bid license. They are on Wall Street. Again, their name, it's called Blockquake. Antonio has become a very good friend of mine. His brother, it's like a real family business. And they really have an exchange there. So you can use them if you like. But also, we are an over the counter exchange. We have a little bit different rules than everyone else because we're selling our own Bitcoin. We're not, you know, doing any of the other things that the exchanges are doing. So if you're in New York, you can absolutely use Crypto Blockchain Plug. We welcome you. We give you white glove service. You are 100% custodian of your cryptocurrency. We do not hold your Bitcoin at all. So the moment we transact, you get it immediately. So those are your two workarounds in New York that I know of for sure. And then we have some fabulous questions, and I'm going to have to ask Erica to put them on the screen because I didn't sign in properly. So if you can put, somebody asked, does Cleve have any idea what direction the executive order has coming down the pipeline?
Yeah. So we know that stable coins will be part of the executive order, right? But we don't know that much more. I will tell you that those of us in Washington and advocacy groups, the Black Nation Association, Coin Center, we are meeting with White House officials to talk about it, to get some insights, to actually provide some insights, to actually try to find some common ground. But the White House is also working with SEC Secretary Gensler, right? Treasury Secretary Yellen, right? And then also, in their ear is our folks like, you know, Chairwoman Maxine Waters, who chairs financial services, but also the chair of the Senate Banking Committee, Sherrod Brown. So I do think that in this space they're going to seek to build consensus, and I think where progressives are, where Democrats are, is they're concerned about crypto. They're concerned about illicit use of crypto. They're concerned about stable coins insofar as their challenge to the US dollar. And they're increasingly becoming concerned even about things like NFTs and DAOs. The good thing is we don't think DeFi will be on the table this year. So I do think the executive director will focus more on stable coins. And even when you look at the report that the Federal Reserve just put out on a CBDC and the prospect for the CBDC for the US, it also asks for comment from people. So I think that will be part of the executive order as well, in terms of, because the CBDC could be stablecoin based. So there's a lot going on. And then Najah, as you mentioned, there's a hearing on February 8th by the House Financial Services Committee that will talk about the presidential working group report on stablecoins that will be on a deep dive. That hearing will actually be a little different because I think there's only going to be one witness, and so it's not going to be a very industry focused, but it will be very important in terms of that conversation. So yeah, so I think we're trying to do some engagement in Washington to make sure that what comes out of it is not a surprise, it's not breaking news, and it's really more about continuing the conversation. But I think Washington doesn't know what they don't know. We even had recently, Congressman Hines put out this report. Well, that's not true. A new bill called the America Competes Act that's really addressing competition with China, where crypto got in the crosshairs because when they, talk about, the authority of the SEC and others who have oversight over things like ransomware, you can actually give regulators a bit more too much authority that really infringes on the rights of key folks. But the industry, we're trying not to be alarmist about these things. Again, I think a lot of the missteps by Washington has been because they don't understand the space, and we haven't done enough of it. got a good job as an industry to make sure people most people don't understand the difference between a stable coin versus cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin, right? People don't understand the difference between permission and permissionless, blockchain, right? What IBM is building is very different than what we have with Bitcoin.
Right,
And then,
right.
please, the Bitcoiners who don't even think that Ethereum is crypto, so there's so many nuances that it's going to take time.
Yes, it definitely is. And we're topping the hour, and ladies and the brave men who love us are listening. And, Clef has been so open and gracious to spend the hour with us. We are going to continue this talk with her on KBLA this Friday. So if you have an opportunity, please download the app. It's KBLA 1580. It is talk radio, but it's Tavis Smiley's radio station. So we will be continuing this conversation with her on Friday. You can start listening in around 9 Pacific, which is 12 Eastern, and then we're going to continue the conversation from for 3 hours. So, but Cleve won't be on for 3 hours. Obviously, we're going to have her come on for that last hour, so you can hear a little bit more about what she has to say. I'm excited to be inviting her on for that. But I do want to ask Cleve this last question. What do you want your legacy to be when it comes to this space and this crypto blockchain life?
Yeah, I want my legacy to be about getting Black and brown people in crypto. Right. So I try not to do things where it costs money for people to get on, to participate. You know, I try to continue to do things where I may be just talking to 10, 20 people. I do think that for some of us who got into this space early on, we've moved along, and so we've focused on education, but at some point it becomes, how many times can you explain what cryptocurrency is, right? But for me, I want to stay in that lane because this is the social impact I wanted to do in Washington and I didn't get to do. And so I have a footprint in Washington politics, in Congress, in the Obama administration, on national campaigns. And I felt like I used my gifts and talents to advance the agenda of others who disappointed me, who didn't really advance what I wanted. So for me, this crypto is about my opportunity to use my talents to advance my agenda, to actually have the impact that I wanted to do. So I would be disappointed if somebody says, "Oh my God, that Cleve, she's very successful. She makes a lot of money." No, I always want people to say, "Oh my God, she's so accessible. She's really focused on having a social impact, creating a pathway for others, making sure," because I know that we all have a shelf life. So for me, I want to be on my I want to plant seeds, and on my deathbed, I know she's gonna kill it in about 5 years. I won't be here, but I want to be confident that these things are gonna continue after I'm gone. And you can only do that by making sure that you're feeding into others. And I have to tell you, in politics and even in crypto, I have been very lucky to have people. Even Sinclair Skinner, as crazy as he is, he introduced me to this space, and he continues to be somebody I'll call and ask questions to. And so, yeah, so I'm
Yeah.
about not just paying it forward, but making sure that I don't have to worry about what happens after I'm gone or after I'm no longer relevant.
Real that is an awesome statement. And I have to say on that note, I am going to publicly say that I have the conversation today with congressional candidate Reverend Wendy, and we have now agreed that Najah will be flying into DC on the last Thursday of every month to educate the east side of the river on
Ooh.
cryptocurrency. And I would love for you, Claire, to partner with me to make this happen for those communities that are disenfranchised, that are forgotten about. We talked today, and I can almost see tears in her eyes about how gentrification is coming in and really tearing up the DC area. And She's calling for change. She is a congressional candidate for change. And I'm gonna be wherever I can be. Now they can't afford to fly me in. I get that. But I'm just crazy enough to think that I can be in DC on Thursdays, the last Thursday of the month, making sure that that community is getting the education that they need. And you're there already. So I would like to publicly ask if you would be available. We're gonna do these meetups and make this happen.
Yeah, and we have quite a few other folks, like Fred Brandon is here, as well as a few other folks in Baltimore. So I'm definitely down, and we'll pull a few. Maureen Murat is here. So the DMV has quite a few folks, and I definitely want to commend you. When you and Hill Hopper did your launch, you did the event here in Southeast to launch and in the community, and that really made a difference to folks. So I'm excited that you'll have a greater presence here, and let us know what we can do to help.
Devin, well, I need you all to let me know what I can do to help because I'm coming to your neck of the woods. So I'm super excited about that. Anytime that I can be where the people are, I love people. I love my folks. I love my black and brown folks. I say it all the time. And I have such a desire for us to win. And we can do it in a grassroots level. When I look at President Obama's campaign and what he was able to actually accomplish with $5, $5, $5,
Oh my
$5. We can do this, family. $5 your way to Bitcoin to an entire Bitcoin. We can do this. We just have got to buckle down, get serious, and really start to look at everything around us because I think so many times we've been tunnel vision.
Yeah.
And to be quite honest, as an ex financial advisor, there weren't really any real options and tools. But we have the options and tools right now. So if you don't hear anything else from me today, just hear that we have an opportunity of a lifetime. This is Black History Month, but this is also Black Future Month. We have a future
Yeah.
in Bitcoin, we have a future in the blockchain. We can do this, we can do this, we can do this. Cleve Mesidor and the Clevolution. I want to say that I love you, I appreciate you, and anything that we can do um, to support you in your quest, please let me know. It says Claire's book is called The Clevolution, My Quest for Justice in Politics and Crypto. Let's support this sister. Let's help this book. Let's give this book out as a birthday present to somebody that may need to really get an understanding of what's going on. I am looking so forward, Claire, to working with you, being in the DC area. I I'm ecstatic because I think LA and DC just for me are two of the places that I really wanted to try to affect change in these politicians.
Yeah. And
Um,
I'm excited you'll be here more, because one of the things, as you know, I want to do more in this year is, create opportunities to get more innovators of color in front of members of Congress, but specifically in front of staffers, because we need to start talking with CBC staff, Congressional Hispanic Caucus staff, and so some of that matchmaking. So, definitely you would love to set up some meetings when it makes sense that you'll be here. We know ahead of time when they're not in session, because Thursdays they can be they
yeah,
often have votes, but we'll make it work, because I think, like you said, we can do it, and we need to fight in numbers wherever we are. That's in Washington, in California, in New York, in
mhm.
Detroit, El Paso, Oakland, the Bronx. So we just need to bring the fight, and recognize and celebrate each other's talents that we bring to the table. So
Definitely, definitely. And if you're listening in again to Cleve, we say thank you. We love you. We appreciate you. You all can download the KBLA Talk Radio. I think it says KBLA Talk 1580, but it is actually an app on your cell phone, Android or Apple phone, but you will be able to hear from Cleve on Friday. She's already said she's available. And we're really going to get to the nitty gritty about politics. You're also going to hear from some of the politicians that are running against 30-year incumbents. We've got to unseat these folks, right? We've got to unseat these folks. You heard Cleve at the beginning. It's time for change.
Yeah.
And we got to do something. So, tune in on Friday, more of Cleve Mesidor. Again, Cleve, thank you so much for spending time with us. You are appreciated. You are loved. You are our Cicely Tyson of crypto with grace and poise, and I'll still be the hood. They hate when I say that in my style, but I'm that one. Look, with the Vaseline, it's time to get down. So anyway, I love you. I appreciate you, and again, thank you for your time, ladies and gentlemen, and the brave men that love us. Thank you for joining the Black Futures Month edition of Wine, Women, and Crypto. So I hope you enjoyed your wine today. We hope that you enjoyed Cleve, and you all have an incredible rest of your night. We will be having a series of events for the entire month on the virtual Underground Railroad. So I'm going to be talking about the metaverse, the do's and the don'ts, and make no mistake about it. I think that a lot of things we need to really rethink and look at in its totality. So I'm not going to be an advocate for anything. I'm only going to help you think critically about what you need to be doing, because we don't have time to waste. We don't have money to waste. So we're going to do these series of things about your self-esteem, getting yourself a side hustle. We're going to do all these things throughout the Black Futures Month to ensure that our Black and Brown community have what they need to really thrive and not survive. We want to thrive. And so please feel free to reach out on social media. Friday, Saturday, not Friday. We're having a crypto essential. It's a crypto 101. Whether you're in New York or DC or Florida, we're going to have it virtual. We'll have it in person here in Los Angeles. I would love for you all to join. This is a prerequisite for something that I'm going to do a lot bigger and harder in crypto, because we have got to seize the moment. Wealth is transferring, ladies and gentlemen, whether you believe it or not. I'm seeing come through this exchange we have folks with 100,000, 200, and I'm talking about our folks, Black and Brown. The money is out there and it is transferring. They're moving it from banks into crypto. They're moving it from banks into hedge. There's so many things happening, and we've got to go into this with our eyes wide open. So I almost beg you to really pay attention to what's going on. We put a lot of this information in the virtual Underground Railroad. I know Cleve has, that platform, and we had to get our own platform, like a little social media platform, because we were being pushed down in the algorithms, which is why I have the virtual Underground Railroad, so I can say what I need to say and lead our people to find out of financial slavery. So you all stay tuned. This is our month. We have gone through everything that we've gone through in history for a time such as this. This is our time. I cannot say it more. Like, I am so convinced, family, that we are going to come out on top. The hell what they're saying about us being at a negative net worth. We don't have to be at a negative net worth. They want us to be at a negative net worth, because then we're at their beckoning call. But we don't have to be that. And we have tools, we have resources, and it is called blockchain. Whether it's blockchain in money, whether it's blockchain in real estate, whether it's blockchain in healthcare, whether it's blockchain in food and supply chain, blockchain is the answer. And so we need to figure out how to step into that. So with that being said, I'm going to stop preaching. Peace and blessings to each and every one of you. I hope that you enjoyed our Black Futures Month edition of Wine, Women, and Crypto. Peace and blessings. Have a great rest of your night. Love you all.
I believe that these two technologies, blockchain technology and cryptocurrency, will close the wealth gap that exists.
Henry, we'll take some notes in this next segment as we break it all down for you right now.
Let's bring in crypto blockchain plug founder Najah Roberts to explain all this to us. Good morning. So you are an expert in this field, and you actually even have a camp to teach kids how to be financially literate in this new crypto world. So that's great. You could speak to us like those children. Yeah.
Hey y'all, it's your girl Najah Roberts, aka Young Harriet, and I am super excited today because I have a question to ask. Are you confused about cryptocurrency and don't know where to start? Well, join me, Najah Roberts, the queen of crypto, for my special Crypto Essentials workshop. It's going to be on Saturday, February 5th in San Pedro, California. But don't worry, if you can't make it, we're going to allow you to come in on a virtual broadcast. You get a copy of my exclusive workbook and some other surprises. You don't want to miss this event, family. Trust me. Spaces are limited, but we're going to be socially distancing so you don't have to worry. And if you're at your house, you don't have to worry about that anyway. But I want you to register early, so I want to see you there. Have an incredible rest of your day. Peace and blessings.
Why am I qualified to talk to you about Bitcoin, wallets, and storages? The main reason is I paid my tuition in this space. Very beginning, which is where we are. People look at the price today being somewhere around $8,000, and they say, hey, that's out of my reach. Well, you know what? It's really going to be out of your reach when it's 100,000 or 200,000.